when Elon Musk had everything money could buy. Mansions, rockets, and companies worth billions, he still felt empty inside. His smart house was perfect, but it never felt like home. His phone buzzed day and night, with people wanting his time and attention. Something important was missing from his life. But what then one day, a strange message appeared in his email. The one thing you can't buy. It led him to a tiny town that wasn't on any map, where nobody recognized his famous face. Their mysterious librarian challenged him to stay for 1 week, without his phone, his wealth, or his famous name. What Elon discovered in that simple town would change him forever. Because some things in life can't be bought, not even by the richest man in the world. Elon Musk's footsteps echoed through the grand hallway of his mansion. The smart house system detected his movement. "Good evening, Mr. Musk. Would you like me to adjust the lighting?" asked Zara, the AI home assistant. "Whatever," Elon mumbled, not really caring if the lights were on or off. The lights dimmed to a soft glow as he wandered from room to room. Each space was perfect. The best furniture money could buy, amazing art on the walls, views that most people only saw in magazines. But tonight, none of it felt like home. Elon stopped in front of a window that looked out over the city. Tiny lights twinkled below like fallen stars. Somewhere down there, regular people were having dinner together, laughing, sharing stories about their day. Up here, in his castle in the sky, Elon was alone. His phone buzzed again. It had been buzzing all day with messages about SpaceX, Tesla, and a dozen other companies. Problems that needed fixing, decisions that needed making, people waiting for his answers. Elon pulled the phone from his pocket and glanced at the screen. 23 new messages, 3 missed calls, 15 emails marked urgent. He sighed and put the phone back without answering any of them. "Zara, turn on the fountain in the main garden," he said. "Yes, Mr. Musk," the AI replied. Through the window, Elon watched as water began to dance and splash in the massive fountain. He had paid a famous artist over $1 million to design it. He couldn't remember the artist's name. Now Elon walked to his trophy room, a space filled with awards, certificates, and magazine covers with his face on them. Time magazine's Person of the Year, the rocket model from his first successful SpaceX launch, the first prototype of a Tesla steering wheel mounted in a glass case. Proof that he was changing the world. Proof that he mattered. So why did he feel so empty inside? "Your temperature is 99.9. 1 degree, slightly elevated. Would you like me to schedule a doctor's visit?" Zara asked suddenly. "No," Elon replied. He wasn't sick, at least not in a way a doctor could fix. He continued his lonely walk through the mansion, passing room after room that he rarely used, a movie theater with 20 seats and no one to watch, with a kitchen where professional chefs made whatever food he wanted whenever he wanted it, a garage filled with cars that cost more than most houses. Elon stopped at a small table in the hallway. Among all the expensive things was a simple frame with an old photo his family from when he was a kid, before the money, before the fame. Everyone was smiling. Real smiles, not the kind you put on for cameras and important people. He picked up the frame, wiping a thin layer of dust off the glass. When was the last time he felt that kind of happy? Not the excitement of a successful rocket launch or the satisfaction of proving critics wrong. Just simple, regular happy. His phone buzzed again. This time, Elon pulled it out, ready to tell whoever it was that he needed some peace. But the notification wasn't from his team or business partners. It was an email from someone named Finley Webb. The subject line read, "The one thing you can't buy." Normally, Elon would ignore strange emails. His spam filters usually caught them anyway, but tonight, something about this one made him curious. Maybe it was the emptiness of the mansion, or the memory of simpler times from the photo. Whatever the reason, Elon opened the email. The message was short. Mr. Musk, there's something you've been searching for. Something all your billions can't purchase if you want to find it come to. This address alone. No security team, no assistance, just you, Finley Webb. Below was an address in a small town called River Oak, about 3 hours away. Elon almost laughed. Was this some kind of joke, or worse, a trap? People were always trying to get close to him. Reporters looking for secrets. Fans wanting a piece of his success. Critics hoping to catch him doing something wrong. Zara, who is Finley Webb? Elon asked. I'm sorry, Mr. Musk. I don't have any information about a person named Finley Webb in your contacts or in any public databases I can access, the AI replied. Elon read the email again. The one thing you can't buy. What was that supposed to mean? He could buy almost anything. Companies, islands, rockets that went to space. But he couldn't buy the feeling he had in that old family photo. His phone rang. This time, it was Judah, his personal assistant. Sir, I'm sorry to bother you, but the team in Berlin needs your input on the new factory design. They're waiting on the video call. Should I tell them you're coming? She asked. Elon stared at the email on his screen then. At the family photo, still in his hand, cancel it, he said, cancel everything for tonight. Sir, the Berlin team has been waiting for 3 hours already, and you have the board meeting tomorrow morning. I said cancel it, Jada. All of it. I need some time to think. There was silence on the other end of the line. Jada wasn't used to him turning down work. Is everything okay, sir? She asked, her voice softer now. Was everything okay? Elon had more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. He was working on projects that might change the future of humanity. By most measures, his life was better than okay. So why did this giant mansion feel like a prison? I'm fine, he lied. Just tired. I'll be available tomorrow. After hanging up, Elon walked to his bedroom and sat on the edge of his king-sized bed. The email from Finley Webb still glowed on his phone screen. The one thing you can't buy. Elon looked around at his perfect empty bedroom, at the awards and the expensive art, and all the things that were supposed to make him happy. Then he looked back at his phone and made a decision. Zara, prepare my car. He said, the Model S, and don't tell anyone where I'm going. As Elon packed a small bag, he couldn't help wondering if he was being foolish, following a mysterious email to a strange address. It wasn't like him to be so impulsive, but something about this felt important. Like maybe this Finley Webb knew what was missing from his life of endless success, the one thing that all his billions couldn't buy. Those words echoed in Elon's mind as he walked to his garage. It was filled with dozens of cars, each one more expensive than the last. Tonight he chose his least flashy one, a simple black Model S. No custom paint, no special features that would make people stare. Sir, are you sure about this? Jada's voice came through his phone. You've never gone anywhere without security. Let me at least send one person with you. No, Elon said firmly, I'm going alone. It's just a short drive. To where Jada asked, I should know where you are in case of emergency. Elon paused. Should he tell her about the strange email about River Oak? She would think he was losing his mind. I'm just going for a drive to clear my head, he said. I'll be back tomorrow, but sir, you have 3 meetings in the morning and handle it. Jada, That's why I hired you. He ended the call before she could argue more. As he got into the car, his phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from his brother. Are you coming to Sam's birthday next week? He's been asking about Uncle Elon. Elon stared at the message, his nephew's birthday. He had completely forgotten. When was the last time he'd even seen Sam? A year ago. Longer. He didn't reply. What would he say? That he was too busy changing the world to show up for birthday cake. Elon tossed the phone onto the passenger seat and started the car. The garage door opened silently, revealing the quiet night outside. No reporters, no fans asking for selfies, just darkness and the open road ahead. As he drove away from his mansion, Elon felt something strange, relief like he could breathe again. The farther he got from his perfect prison, the lighter his chest felt. The navigation system showed the route to River Oak, 3 hours and 20 minutes. It was already past midnight, which meant he'd arrive around 4 a.m. A normal person would wait until morning, but Elon Musk had never been normal. Play something relaxing, he told the car's system. Soft piano music filled the car as city lights faded behind him. The road became darker with fewer cars. Soon he was alone on the highway, just a man in a car like millions of others. Not a billionaire, not a CEO, not the face on magazine covers, just Elon. His mind raced with questions. Who was Finley Webb? How did this person get his private email? What did they want? From him? Money, a job, an investment in some crazy idea. And the biggest question, why was he, Elon Musk, driving alone in the middle of the night to meet a stranger based on a cryptic email? I must be losing my mind, he muttered to himself. But deep down, he knew why. The emptiness in his mansion had been growing for years. The hollow feeling after each success, the way each new billion in his bank account meant less than the one before. Something was missing, and nothing he bought filled the hole. Maybe, just maybe, this Finley Webb knew what it was. As the car drove through sleeping towns and past dark farms, Elon found himself thinking about the old family photo, about the smile on his face as a boy, about dreams he'd had that weren't about money or fame or changing the world. Simple dreams. Happy dreams. His phone rang again. Jada probably checking on him or trying to drag him back to his duties. He turned the phone off completely. For the first time in years, Elon Musk was unreachable. It felt dangerous and wonderful. The car's navigation announced that River Oak was 50 miles ahead. Elon peered through the windshield, trying to see something in the darkness. What kind of place was River Oak? He'd never heard of it before. As the miles passed, the smooth highway gave way to smaller roads. The fancy navigation system started to glitch. Signal lost. The car's system announced routing, but it didn't reroute. Instead, the screen went blank. Great. Even his state-of-the-art electric car couldn't find this place. Elon pulled over and took out his phone, turning it back on to check the map. No service. This was getting stranger by the minute. Places without cell service still existed. He thought his satellites covered almost everywhere now. Elon put the phone away and looked at the road ahead. There was a small hand-painted sign at the side of the road, River Oak, 5 miles. He took a deep breath and continued driving. The road narrowed and curved through thick trees. No streetlights, no billboards, nothing to show that the modern world existed out here. After a few more miles, the trees opened up. Elon slowed the car as he entered what appeared to be a small town, frozen. In time, old-fashioned street lamps cast pools of yellow light on empty sidewalks. Small shops lined the main street, their windows dark at this early hour, and there, hanging from a post in the town square, was a wooden sign gently swinging in the breeze. "Welcome to River Oak, where what matters most is free." Elon stared at the sign, his car idling quietly beneath it. The town looked like something from an old movie. Small shops with hand-painted signs, narrow streets without traffic lights, and not a single chain store in sight. Dawn was just beginning to break, painting the sky in soft pinks and purples. As the light grew stronger, Elon could see that River Oak was nestled in a valley surrounded by rolling hills and forests. It was beautiful in a simple, natural way that his architect-designed mansion could never match. He drove slowly down the Main Street. No one was around yet. It was too early. Or maybe the town's residents were hiding from the strange car and stranger driver. Now what? Elon muttered to himself. He looked at his phone again. Still no signal. He checked the email one more time. Reading the address, Finley Webb had sent Maple Lane. But there were no street signs that he could see. A light came on in one of the shops ahead. It was a small bakery with sunrise bread painted on the window. An older woman stepped outside and began sweeping the sidewalk. She looked up as Elon's car approached and gave a friendly wave, as if electric cars worth $100,000 drove through town every day. Elon stopped and rolled down his window. "Excuse me," he called. "I'm looking for Maple Lane." The nice woman leaned on her broom. "You must be new in town," she said with a smile. "Maple Lane is on the other side of the park. Just go straight ahead, turn right at the big oak tree, and follow that road until you see the library. Maple Lane is right across from it." "Thank you," Elon said, waiting for some sign of recognition. Surely she knew who he was. Everyone did. But the woman just nodded and went back to her sweeping, as if he were any ordinary traveler. Elon drove on, following her directions. The park turned out to be a green square in the center of town, with benches and tall trees. The lady big oak tree was impossible to miss. It was enormous, probably hundreds of years old, with branches that stretched over the entire street. As he turned right, Elon noticed something odd. People were starting to appear as the town woke up, but no one was looking at their phones. Instead, they were talking to each other, reading actual newspapers, or simply watching the sunrise. And even stranger, no one was driving. They walked or rode bicycles. A teenage boy rolled past on a skateboard, nodding hello as if Elon's fancy car wasn't worth a second glance. Had he somehow traveled back in time? Elon continued down the street until he spotted a small stone building with River Oak Library carved above the door. Across from it was a narrow lane with a wooden sign, Maple Lane. He turned onto the lane and counted the small houses until he reached number 42. It was a tiny cottage with a blue door and flowers growing in window boxes. Nothing special, nothing that screamed mysterious meeting place for billionaires. Elon parked his car and sat there for a moment, suddenly unsure. This whole trip was crazy. He should be in his office right now, making decisions worth millions of dollars, not chasing cryptic emails to strange little towns. He was about to start the car again when he noticed a sign on the cottage door. Moving closer, he read the handwritten note. "Mr. Musk answers at the library, F.W. Finley Webb." So this person really did exist, and somehow knew Elon would find this place. Elon looked across the street at the stone library. It was a small building, probably holding fewer books than his personal collection at home, but something about it seemed to pull at him, like a magnet drawing him closer. He crossed the street and climbed the 3 stone steps to the library door. Another handwritten sign hung there. Answers inside. Elon took a deep breath and pushed the door open. It creaked softly as he stepped inside. The interior was warm and smelled of old books and wood polish. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, illuminating rows of bookshelves. The space was empty, except for a person sitting at a desk near the back head, bent over an open book. "Hello, Elon," called his voice, sounding too loud in the quiet space. The person looked up. It was an elderly individual with silver hair and bright, intelligent eyes that seemed to see right through Elon's carefully built walls. "Ah, Mr. Musk," they said, with a warm smile. "I've been expecting you. I'm Finley Webb. You got my message, your email." Elon corrected, moving closer. "How did you get my private email address? And why am I here?" Finley closed the book and stood up. "You're here because you have everything a person could buy, and yet you're still searching. You're here because despite all your achievements, something feels missing." Elon felt a chill run down his spine. "How could you possibly know that?" "Because it's written all over your face," Finley said gently. "It's in the way you stand, the way you speak. You've conquered the world, Mr. Musk, but the victory feels hollow." Elon wanted to deny it, to say this was nonsense, but the words stuck in his throat because they were true. "What do you want from me?" he asked instead. Finley Webb smiled again, eyes twinkling with something that might have been wisdom or mischief, or both. "I don't want anything from you, Mr. Musk. The question is, what do you want that all your billions can't buy?" Elon stood frozen, the question hitting him like a physical blow. No one talked to him this way anymore, directly, without flattery or fear. It was refreshing and terrifying at the same time. Finley Webb was not what Elon had expected. The librarian was in their 70s, with kind eyes that crinkled at the corners when they smiled. They wore simple clothes, a sweater with patches on the elbows, comfortable pants, and worn shoes. Nothing fancy, nothing that screamed, important person. Yet something about Finley made Elon feel like he was the one being interviewed, not the other way around. "How about we sit down?" Finley suggested, gesturing to a small reading area by the window. Two comfortable chairs faced each other across a small wooden table. Elon nodded and followed his mind, racing with questions. Who was this person? How did they know so much about him? Was this some elaborate trick? As they sat down, golden morning light streamed through the window, illuminating countless dust particles dancing in the air. The library was cozy and smelled of old paper and wood polish. It reminded Elon of a place he had loved as a child, the public library where he'd spent hours reading about rockets and computers. Tea, Finley asked, pouring from a small pot that sat on the table. "Sure," Elon said, though he usually preferred coffee, strong coffee, lots of it. Finley handed him a steaming cup. "So, Mr. Musk, when was the last time you felt truly happy?" The question caught Elon off guard. I don't know. I'm happy when my companies succeed. When we launch a rocket or release a new car model." Finley's eyes seemed to see right through him. "That satisfaction, pride in your work? I'm asking about joy. Pure happiness that has nothing to do with achievement." Elon stared into his teacup, watching the steam rise in lazy curls. When was the last time he'd felt that kind of happiness? He thought about birthdays and holidays, but those were often just more obligations, photo opportunities, time spent checking his phone under the table. "I guess I don't remember," he admitted quietly. Finley nodded as if this was exactly the answer they expected. "What did you love doing as a child? Before fame, before fortune?" Elon's mind drifted back, reading, building things, taking apart old computers and putting them back together, dreaming about space. And do you still do those things? Not for work or for your companies, but just for the joy of it. I don't have time for, Elon stopped himself. It sounded like an excuse, even to his own ears. No, I don't. Finley took a sip of tea and asked another unexpected question. Who matters most to you, Mr. Musk? Again. Elon found himself struggling for an answer. His children, of course, his brother. But when was the last time he'd spent a full day with them, without checking emails or taking calls? When was the last time he'd been fully present? I think that's enough questions, Elon said, setting down his tea. You invited me here. For a reason. What is it? Finley smiled gently. I invited you here because you needed to come. Because all your incredible success has left you empty inside. Because you've forgotten what really matters. And you know what really matters? Elon asked, unable to keep the skepticism from his voice. I know what matters to me. Finley replied, I know what matters to the people of River Oak, but what matters most to you? That's something only you can discover. Finley stood up and walked to a shelf near the window. From it they removed a leather-bound book with no title on the spine or cover. The librarian placed it on the table between them. This book is special, Finley said. It shows people what they need to see. Elon eyed the book suspiciously. What does that mean? Open it, Finley suggested. Elon hesitated, then reached for the book. It felt warm under his fingers, as if it had been sitting in the sun, though it had been on a shaded shelf. He opened it to find nothing. The pages were completely blank. There's nothing here, he said, flipping through empty page after empty page. Not yet. Finley agreed. The book reveals its wisdom slowly, and only to those who are truly ready to see it. Elon closed the book with a snap. Is this some kind of joke? I came all this way for an empty book. Finley didn't seem bothered by his irritation. You came all this way because something is missing in your life. This book can help you find it, but only if you're willing to do the work. What work? Elon asked his patients, wearing thin. Stay in River Oak. 1 week, no phone, no internet, no one knowing where you are. Just you discovering what money can't buy. Elon laughed out loud. That's impossible. I have companies to run, thousands of employees, depending on me. Deadlines, launches, board meetings. The world managed before Elon Musk. Finley said gently, it will manage for 1 week without you. This is ridiculous, Elon said. Standing up, I don't have time for games or riddles or small towns frozen in time. He turned to leave, but stopped when Finley spoke again. What if your next great innovation isn't a rocket or a tunnel or an electric car? What if it's discovering how to be happy again? The words hit Elon like a physical force, stopping him in his tracks. When was the last time he'd thought about happiness as a goal, not success, not changing the world, just happiness 1 week? Finley continued. At the end, the book will show you what you need to see, what all your billions can't buy. Elon turned back slowly, and if it doesn't, then you go back to your life, having lost nothing but a week of time. But if it does, Finley's eyes twinkled. If it does, you might gain everything that's been missing. Elon looked at the empty book on the table. Then, at his watch, a timepiece worth more than most cars, 1 week, 7 days, 168 hours. Could he really do it? Disappear from his life of constant demands and expectations, let go of control of his companies, his projects, his carefully constructed image. I have a small cottage you can use, Finley said, as if reading his thoughts. It's comfortable. Simple. No internet, no phone signal, just you and your thoughts. Elon pictured his mansion, enormous, perfect, and completely empty of anything that brought him joy. Then he thought about the sign at the entrance to town, where what matters most is free. What did that mean? What could be valuable that didn't cost money? I'll give you one thing to help on your journey, Finley said, opening a drawer and pulling out a simple notebook and pen. Write down your thoughts each day, your observations, your feelings. They matter more than you think. Elon took the notebook, feeling strangely like he was standing at a crossroads. Stay in Rivero and chase this mysterious secret, or return to his normal life of wealth and emptiness. 1 week, he said finally, but this better not be a waste of my time. Finley smiled, and this time the smile reached all the way to those kind, knowing eyes. Mr. Musk, it might be the most valuable week of your life. Elon stared out the library window at the small town coming to life. People were walking dogs, opening shops, and greeting each other with genuine smiles. No one was rushing, no one looked stressed, and no one was looking at their phone. It seemed like another world, a simpler one. I need to make a call first, Elon said, to let my assistant know I'll be unavailable. Finley nodded. There's an old phone in the back office. It still works for outgoing calls. It will be your last contact with your world before your week begins. Elon followed Finley to a small office and stared at the ancient telephone on the desk. It had a rotary dial. He hadn't seen one of those outside of a museum in decades. I'll give you privacy, Finley said, closing the door softly. Elon picked up the receiver and dialed Jada's number, having to think hard about how to use the rotary dial. After several rings, she answered. Hello? Her voice sounded anxious. Who is this? It's me, Elon said. Mr. Musk, where are you? The board is going crazy. There are 3 different crises at SpaceX, and Tesla stock dropped 2 points when people realized you were offline. Are you okay? For a moment, Elon almost changed his mind. The familiar pull of responsibilities and crises tugged at him. His companies needed him. His employees needed him. The world needed him. Or did it? I'm fine, he said. I need you to handle things. For a week, Jada sounded like she might faint. Sir, that's not possible. You have the Berlin meeting tomorrow, the rocket launch on Thursday, and the investors won't reschedule it all. Elon interrupted. Say, I'm working on a new project. Something big, something that required my complete focus. There was silence on the other end. Then, are you in some kind of trouble? Is someone forcing you to say this? Blink twice if wait. I can't see you. Are you being held against your will? Despite himself, Elon laughed. No, Jada. I'm fine. I just need a break. A break. She sounded genuinely confused, as if the concept was completely foreign. Maybe it was. When was the last time he had taken a real break? 1 week. Elon repeated. I'm turning off my phone. Don't try to find me. I'll be back next Monday. But Sir Jada, he said, cutting her off, I trust you. You can handle this. After a long pause, she sighed. Okay, 1 week. But if you're not back by next Monday, I'm sending search parties. Fair enough, Elon said. And Jada, thank you. He hung up before she could argue more. It felt strange, terrifying, and liberating at the same time to disconnect from his life, like stepping off a cliff, not knowing if you'd fall or fly. When Elon emerged from the office, Finley was waiting with a knowing smile. Ready? As I'll ever be, Elon replied, pulling out his phone. It felt wrong to turn it off completely, like cutting off a limb, but he did it anyway, watching the screen.